Money at the Wayne County Jail is so tight these days that Sheriff Benny Napoleon said he'd have to let out 1,000 accused criminals just to meet budget.
I don't think anybody sitting at this table wants to go back into their community and say, we released 1,000 dangerous murders, rapists, robbers, carjackers, B&E men, child molesters, spouse abusers back into your community.
So when the department couldn't afford to keep paying its gas card bills, it probably shouldn't have caught our attention, but it did. We wanted to see just who's getting free gas at the county these days. Indeed, some of the department's 90 or so cards are assigned to officers who need to drive a lot, like those in drug enforcement and parks patrol. But others on this list are more curious. Lawyers, administrators, and command staff who don't respond to 911 and aren't on the road very much. Here are just a few. Ursula Henry is a lawyer for the department. Her bio says she works on contracts, labor agreements, and most recently, the failed jail project. She's not an officer, doesn't carry a gun, but has racked up some of the largest gas bills that you've been paying. $306 worth last year in May, $345 in August. Month after month, she kept charging you for her gas, until officials realized this spring she shouldn't have had that county car in the first place. They took her keys and then her card.
All the little details add up. I mean, there's a cumulative value to everything.
Under Sheriff Dan Faunus acknowledges that even a few $1,000s in waste a month is still enough to worry about. But he says the sheriff believes paying for an employee's gas, even if they mostly just drive to and from home, is worth it if a 9/11 type event ever happens here.
By having people with vehicles, by having people with access to gas, it fits into his business model of being able to have people respond at any moment of any time.
But what sort of emergencies is James Spivey responding to? He's also a lawyer who oversees the sheriff's court services division. Other than a couple of meetings a month just a few miles from his downtown office, he told me by phone that he pretty much sticks to his desk. His biggest daily drive, 86 miles to and from his home in Ann Arbor.
Have you looked at his bills?
No,
Would you like to?
not necessarily.
Well, you might want to take a look. $505 in February last year, $521 later on that April, and in August, $684 in gas alone. He filled up 13 times that month, 186 gallons in all. At his county vehicle's 21 miles per gallon, that's nearly 4,000 miles traveled in just 1 month, nearly enough to drive from Detroit to Las Vegas and back.
4,000 miles in a month?
Yeah.
On the one hand, that sounds like a lot of miles. On the other hand, I don't know what he was tasked with doing during that month.
Well, we wanted to find out, but Spivey wouldn't agree to talk to us on camera. So we found him outside his office as he was about to rack up a few more miles. You've got some of the highest gas bills in the county, sir. Where are you driving, sir?
Talk to my...
By phone, Spivey did say that once every 7 weeks he's on call as a duty officer, responding to any emergencies inside the department. For his last stint, he said, there were none. But it's always important to be ready.
If you don't have a good answer, it's always good to throw public safety in the public's face.
Wayne County Commissioner Ray Basham isn't buying it. He chairs the county's audit committee, and as we speak, county investigators are probing the use of the sheriff's gas cards, looking for waste.
You have a $100 million budget, you're $30 million over, and yet you should be looking for efficiencies.
You always want to make sure that our resources are being used effectively, the way they should be used.
Press Director Paula Bridges got a card too, and she gave it a workout, spending an average of $336 a month on county gas, filling up as many as 9 times a month. Her bill for August of last year shows she racked up almost $500 in gas, enough for about 2,300 miles, the distance from Detroit to California.
That
Yes.
seems a little hard to believe.
That was a busy month.
What were you doing?
I wish I could reflect on what happened 12 months ago. I did not have something that was written down.
Bridges gave her card and vehicle back in March. After our interview, she sent me an email saying she attends community events almost daily, but she says her biggest single expense, driving to work all the way from her home in Canton. At 62 miles round trip, that's 1,100 miles a month. A perfectly reasonable expense, she says, even though the department is tens of millions over budget.
Are we just paying for a lot of these people to drive to and from home?
I don't actually have the answer to that.
Well, the sheriff's office says they are reviewing James Spivey's gas usage, and everyone in the department with a card. The commission's audit that we told you about of that gas card usage is due out on Wednesday, and sources say it will not be pretty.